Welcome to the fourth and last day in the gym of this athletic program. Today we're doing upper body again, and as ever we're following the same format as we have the previous 3 days. So we've got some mobility and activation work, we've got some priming to do, we've got some strength work, and we've got some accessory lifting to do after. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, I was at the gym nice and early again this morning, and I went through this cable series for the rotator cuff. So we have external rotation, then we have a type of reverse fly, then we have internal rotation, and then we have a type of pec fly. This is all very light, and it's just to get the shoulder moving in the right way, activate the right muscles before we go into our push pressing. After working with the cables, I did the thoracic extension exercise that we saw in a previous video of this series, and I also did the RF stretch again, which again I did in a previous video of this series, just to open up the hips before I get into pressing and moving. And guys, actually still part of the warm-up, I grabbed the dumbbells really light, and I went through this dumbbell series here. Now, I've used this over the years and throughout the year to warm up the shoulders. I use it with my rugby players, I use it with myself. I'd love to give credit to where I stole it from years ago. I took it from somewhere, but I find it really good just to finish off warming up the shoulders before going into some upper body lifting. And in this session we have push press. That was super important, that I felt really good and warm before I get into it. Guys, before we get started with the workout, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. If you enjoy this type of content, athletic training routines, rugby strength and conditioning, then there's plenty of that on this channel, and I would really appreciate it if you subscribe. Cheers. Now today, I actually wanted to do a vertical med ball toss, so throwing the medicine ball up as high as I possibly could, but I just couldn't find it this morning, okay? I went upstairs, I looked for it, I couldn't find it, so I didn't want to waste too much time. So instead of doing a superset with the medicine ball and then these drop catch press ups, I just went for the drop catch press ups. So again, this program's obviously going to build in intensity and it's going to get harder as I go, but this is a nice place to start. It's something that's going to challenge the shoulders, so when you drop down, try to catch yourself at the halfway point. Don't ride the momentum down and then push back up. What you're trying to do on the drop catch is drop from a height that you're comfortable with and then put on the brakes at that halfway point and really own and control the movement. So that's going to be for 4 reps, and again, if you can superset it with the med ball throws, fantastic. If like me this morning you couldn't find the medicine ball, then don't worry too much about it. So moving on to our strength block, and you probably guessed it at this point in the series, is 3 sets of 8 because we're on week 1 and we're using 60 to 70% on the push press. There's a little bit of give there on the power exercises, or the exercises that have a little bit of velocity to them, such as the push press. So guys, I've spoken a lot about push press on this channel. Again, I'll link my top 10 strength exercises that you can see here and click on here. So because we pushed vertically, we're going to pull vertically. And the next exercise is chin-ups. Again, 3 sets of 8. Now guys, don't worry if you can't do 3 sets of 8. Some coaches will suggest using a band. I'm not going to suggest that to you here, okay? If you can't do 8 chin-ups, don't worry about it. Let's just cluster it. So let's say you can do 5 chin-ups in this example. I would suggest to you doing 2 reps, taking a rest, 2 reps, taking a rest, and that rest is going to be about 20 seconds until you get to 6. If you can do 5, just go to 6, don't do 8, alright? But today I was bashing out 3 sets of 8 on the chin-ups. You can also do heavy lat pull downs, that's fine at this part of the program as well. But I would encourage cluster sets because you'll get stronger on chin-ups, you'll build muscle and you get stronger, so it's a win-win. Anyways, moving on to our accessory work, and today is narrow bench press, superset with dumbbell reverse flies. So guys, in the narrow bench press, I just like to set up so that my hands are in line with my shoulders, okay? So bench press is 1.5 normal bench press typically, it depends on the person, and then narrow bench press for me would be, you know, just in line with the shoulders, okay? And then you've got the super closed, but we tend to just go for the shoulders. So great exercise for the triceps, the chest, the anterior deltoid. You don't want to flare too much when you're pressing, so keep your elbows tucked in close. If they drift out a little bit, it's not the end of the world, that's fine. But just be aware that we don't want to see flaring elbows, just like in a normal bench press, we don't want to see flaring elbows when you're pressing. So narrow bench press is going to be for 8, and then you're going into dumbbell reverse flies for 12. Maintain your posture when you're doing the dumbbell reverse flies, as I'm showing you here, and just be careful that you select the right weight. It should be relatively light, because if you go really heavy, you're just going to bend your arms like this, and it's going to turn into a bit of a hybrid between a sort of fly and a row, okay? Try to keep your arms nice and long and extended and away from you to work the posterior deltoid. So guys, we're almost finished, and before we get on to the trunk work, we're going to do some rack runs for the biceps. Now, there may or may not be some S&C coaches watching this that are thinking, biceps, you've sort of said this is an athletic program, why are you doing biceps? And there's a very good reason for that. And the reason is, I just don't want to live in a world where you can't do biceps on a Friday. Like, is it super functional? No. Is it the most athletic thing that you could do? Absolutely not. But is it fun and feels good? And like, it's Friday, let's do some biceps. Is it going to take away from anything that I'm doing? No, it's not going to take away from anything I'm doing. So I'm going to do them. But anyway, guys, they're in my program because I enjoy doing them. And guess what? If you're doing an S&C program or an athletic program and there's something that you like to do, then go ahead and do it. Just be careful that when you do bring in whatever you want to bring in, that it's not taken away from your objective, taken away from your goals. What's the goal of this program for me? Improve body composition. Will doing biceps hinder my body composition? No, I don't think it will. Now, I just have to be careful that I don't do too much if I've got grappling and a lot of volume of grappling throughout the week. However, in this period, I'd love to do more grappling, but I can't. That being said, I will be doing some judo today, so I'm excited about that. I've got that later on, but I think you get the message. Rack runs were fun, and they certainly won't affect my performance because I know what's happening on the training later on because it's me that's running it, so we're all good. So after rack runs, we've got some trunk work to do. We're going to do ab wheel rollouts or a variation thereof. There's lots of variations for rollouts. You can use an ab wheel, you can use a Swiss ball, you can use a barbell. This features a lot in my program for the guys because it's a really great movement for trunk strength. Unfortunately, I couldn't film it this morning, but here's some clips of my guys going through it so you know exactly what you need to do. I was doing 3 sets of 10, and after that, the workout's finished. So guys, hope you enjoyed that workout. Again, if you're liking this type of content, please do subscribe and share it with a friend that might enjoy it as well. Really appreciate that. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers guys, ciao.